Hello everyone, welcome back. So we are getting a lot of requests, and this time the request is to address on the topic of power of attorney. Now I will just start off by saying what is power of attorney. So the power of attorney, or shortly called as POA, is nothing but a legal document that gives the power or gives the right to someone else on someone else's behalf. So it is basically a bridge between two individuals, which is the principal and the agent. Now, coming to the types of power of attorney, you should understand that not all powers of attorney are created equally. There are three main types. The first one being the general power of attorney, where a broad authority is being given. For example, in cases this is generally done for legal proceedings, and where various issues or can be addressed or representations are being made. And the next one is the special or limited power of attorney, where it is being executed only for certain specific tasks. For example, for disposal of a property, a power of attorney will be given. And the third one is the durable power of attorney. This is something which is effective even if the principal can't make certain decisions. So this is done especially during the time of terminally ill patients, or during people who are in this periods of lunatic intervals, we call it. So during these times, the durable power of attorney comes into effect. Now coming to the eligibility criteria and the capacity, who can execute it? So anyone with the capacity to enter into a valid contract can basically execute a power of attorney, which is nothing but a person who is a major, who is of sound mind, and who is also capable of understanding the terms of the power of attorney. But of course, there are certain rules and limitations, especially for companies as such. Now coming to what all should go into the power of attorney. Now a standard power of attorney document contains the following, which is: one is the principal and the agent's details, the agent's scope of authority, the date of the executions, the signature and the notarization requirements, and also the revocation process. Now coming to the rights of the agent. The agent's powers are defined by the POA. So it will vary according to the substance of the power of attorney. So for example, it can be for legal action on the principal's behalf, decision making on personal or business or financial matters, creating any kind of bank accounts or handling any kind of property transactions, or even it can be sometimes on signing of tax returns and much more. Now coming to the execution and registration of the POA, specific requirements are needed on the execution aspect, especially including the notarization. And in India, registration is mandatory for certain cases, especially for property related matters. And witness signatures are also play a crucial role. Now next, let us see when a POA becomes questionable or challenged under the law. Now, the POA can only be granted with the principal's consent, and it also must be willingly signed, and any kind of fraud or coercive means makes it invalid. And the other aspect is, in case if the agent commits any kind of fraud, or the principal himself or herself questions the validity of the POA, legal challenges will arise. So competence is key for both the parties to have a perfect POA in place. Now coming to the limitations of the POA, it has certain limitations. The agents must stay within the defined scope, and exceeding it can also lead to certain legal repercussions. So after the principal's death, the POA also becomes ineffective. Let us see the key principles of power of attorney. So the power of attorney should always be strictly construed. The agents also cannot exceed their authorized powers, and they should also ensure that the rights of the principal is protected. Now, also the principals aren't responsible for any kind of fraud which has been committed by the agent, and any kind of acts which is exceeding the authorized powers won't also bind the principal. For example, a power is given for a disposal of property, then the agent cannot mortgage or sublease the same property. Now, managing immovable property does not cover any kind of movable assets, like for example, any kind of ornaments or any precious jewelry or any of those things. So to summarize, in the world of legal instruments, the power of attorney plays a vital connection, granting one person the authority to act for another. So it is a pact which is based on trust, responsibility, and legal intricacies. So before you execute a POA, please look into the required essentials and then make an execution. I hope this video would have been informative. Thank you so much for watching. Until then, bye-bye.